y'all. Welcome to Colored Couch Conversations, a podcast where I have intimate conversations with women of color on my couch. Today, we will be talking about being a Black woman and being a part of the queer community and Meg Thee Stallion in that entire situation. We'll also give advice to someone who is trying to break up with somebody, but it's quarantine. So how do you do that? I'm your host, Jazmyn W. Today, my guest is a bisexual comedian who is brutally honest and uniquely clever, often confounded by stupidity. Her comedy blends life experiences and self-discovery, touching on everything from family, drugs, co-workers, sexuality, and misspelled tattoos. I think we're going to have to hear about that a little bit. Shay's energetic stage presence is engaging, silly, fearless, and direct, just like her. You can follow her on Instagram at Chey Bell Comedy. That's CheyBell Comedy. And keep up with her at shaybell.com. This is one of my personally, I don't even know how you say that, great friends, Chey Bell.
Yay!
Hey, Shay.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm good, girl. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm in town taking care of some business, and I just got back to my hotel room, so I'm chilling. I'm looking forward to trying to grab some dinner outside somewhere, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a good day.
Shay came all the way to LA, didn't even tell me she was here because she know I'm not coming out of quarantine.
Yeah, exactly. Every time I even talk to you on the phone about if I come, you like, I'm not going out. My husband got out.
Girl, I'm trying to protect my income. I mean, my husband. No, I'm playing. Anyway, so wait, do you have any misspelled tattoos, Shay?
I do.
What? I never knew that.
Yeah, well, I don't broadcast. I guess I do broadcast it if it's in my bio. It was one of the first jokes I think I might have written. I'm not going to tell you the joke now,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't really tell it's misspelled because it's a word, identified in numbers.
So you don't even want to tell us the word. I know y'all don't want to hear the joke.
I'm going to tell you the word,
Okay.
but if you looked at it, it's just numbers. It's just
Okay.
numbers on my upper left arm, by my shoulder. And so the word is believe.
Okay.
It's spelled in numbers, but it's missing one number. It's missing the number 5,
Yeah.
which is the letter E.
Huh. Okay.
So instead of the tattoo spelling believe, it's spelled believe.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Somebody dumb tattoo you or what?
I mean, and it wasn't until I got home, I'm looking in the mirror, I'm like, B-E-L. I was like, God damn it. I was like, you would think like, even if I wrote it, you just relying on me, you the professional. Shouldn't you double check some work, or shouldn't you make sure, like, you know what I mean? Like,
He thought you did that over. He thought you meant be live, like always stay lit.
yeah, no, nobody uses that word. That's ridiculous. But nobody can really tell. That's why it's funny. Nobody can really tell, because even when people see the tattoo, they're too busy trying to ask me, what are those numbers? What does that mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
that was a word,
Yeah.
Nobody's going to sit there and be like, B, 1, 2, letter B. Oh, wait, the second one is 4, A, B, C. Nobody, people just go, oh, it looks nice, and they carry on about their lives. Thank God.
Right. Do you have a lot of tattoos?
I have 9.
Okay. Yeah.
I might have 9. I only have one that's super visible, the one on my forearm.
Yeah. Okay. You have quite a few then. I have one. I regret that one. I tell that story. I've told that story before. Yeah. We'll have to.
Tell me later.
Yeah, I have to tell you that later.
Oh,
It's not anybody's name. No, I just got it with a couple of friends a couple of people that I'm not friends with anymore, and we all got the same one. So it's kind of like,
that's not good.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah.
You thought about covering it?
I really don't really like tattoos. Like I wouldn't get another one. So I'd have to get another one to cover the one that I have,
Okay, well, all right. Well,
They hurt.
yeah, it's very painful.
What's wrong with y'all?
It's so dope though. It looks awesome. It's awesome. It's amazing. But every time I want to get another one, and it sounds like a good idea until you go in there and you hear that zzz, and you be like, oh hell no, why did we do this again?
Exactly.
Yeah, immediately regret it.
Okay, well, listen, y'all. Every episode, we always start off with a quote from a woman a quote from a woman we admire, right? Shay is a comedian and she hard-headed. So this is her quote, okay? You just like your daddy, said by Shay's mother. Why did you choose this quote, Shay? What does this quote mean to you?
Well, the first question was find, it has to be a quote from a woman that you admire.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of women I admire, but I think the older I get, none as much as my mother. And so if I'm going to credit any woman with a quote that I love, it's definitely going to be from my mom. So that was why. And so moms don't go around quoting poems. You know what I mean? So it's like what does she always say? She says two things. She says, you just like your daddy, or this is ridiculous. If I had to think of the things that she says the most often, those are the two things that she says the most often.
Why are you just like your dad? What about you is just like your daddy?
I think my desire to question. Like I'm super inquisitive about everything, and I always want to know more. Like it's never enough. That, and also I tend to play devil's advocate.
Well, that's the same thing, Shay.
Is it? Yeah. But what I mean, like I'll give you a specific example. Like my mother is a Democrat. Okay. My father's a Republican. For the longest time, I've been a Democrat. I think most people, you just follow whoever. Lately, I've been starting to really question that.
Yeah.
And I want to understand better why so many Black people are Democrats, how we came to be so involved with this party. And I'm really starting to think maybe it's not, I don't know if it's the most positive direction for us to be going in. Not to say that we should be Republican, but I think we should question it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think just because my mom knows that my dad is a Republican, when I said that, she tried to throw to you just like your daddy. And I was like, well, that should be a good thing, right? You just don't want to follow everybody. So, that's just like an example of me, just questioning and just being inquisitive.
Yeah.
To know more, understand.
Yeah. So are you thinking about voting for Trump?
No, don't be ridiculous. I think, I don't, he's just not the right dude. I don't think he's the right dude. I don't disagree with everything that Trump has to say. I think that but I'm not bothered by his tackiness. I'm not bothered by the fact that he's just, he just seems to be, he has no class.
Yeah.
And I think that bothers a lot of people about him because he says the most ridiculous things. It's inappropriate. He doesn't care, but the comic in me kind of likes that.
Yeah. And some people do, I agree with, what you're saying. The fact that Trump is tacky doesn't bother me. It's his lying that does, and some of the other things. But I'm not a Democrat. I don't believe I'm a Democrat 100%.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't believe I am Republican 100%. I think they're both alleged pedophiles, actually. But that's another conversation for another day.
The gate, huh?
Both of them, though. Trump too. Because anyway. But yeah, I think we should all question it. I think you're right. We should all question it. Okay. Well, shout out to Mama Belle. What's your mama's name? What's your mama's first name?
Janet.
Shout out to Janet. Well, listen, just to get to know you a bit, I always start off the podcast with some random questions. We always get to some random questions, rather, and I have some good ones for you. So, you mentioned in your bio that you're bisexual, and the first question I have is, Black people, we're hella homophobic. Like, we homophobic as hell. How has your experience been as a Black woman in being a part of the queer community?
I mean, it's gotten better, obviously, in recent years, but, earlier on, it took me a long time to come out. It took me, there are some times today that I feel like, man, I wish I was regular.
Not regular.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't come back to haunt me, but it's only out of, sometimes not wanting to deal with all that comes with it, because you just want to be a human being.
Yeah.
And I don't really like the classifications, quite honestly. I don't like bisexual. I don't like gay. I don't like any of that. I'm just like a human being, and what I like is what I like and what I do.
Right.
So it hasn't been easy. You have to listen to people use a lot of very derogatory and negative language, all
Yeah.
the time. And a lot of times it's coming from men,
Yes.
unfortunately, because I'm around Black men, that's who it's coming from. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of misconceptions that you have to deal with. And so you just have to deal with the ignorance. People don't know. They think, being bisexual or being attracted to somebody of the same sex is about sex.
Right.
It's not about sex. It's not just, it is about sex, but it's not, you're not just like, I want to, it's not like every woman you see, you trying to, go lay down. It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's the same way a straight person is not attracted to every straight person that they see, and you just out to go have sex with them.
Exactly.
Unless you're a man, but anyway.
Okay. What do you think the biggest misconception about bisexual women is? Like, what would you say? I think I have some of my own, because they're stereotypes that I have, because even though I consider myself an ally, it doesn't mean that I don't think of stereotypes. I still do, But what do you think one of maybe the biggest misconceptions is, or that you run into at least?
Yeah, that you want to be a man. That
Oh,
somebody
really?
wants to be a man in the relationship.
Wow. Okay.
Or that you haven't met the right man.
Yeah.
You just haven't met the right man, and so that's why you're going in that direction. It's like dating women is not easier. It's way more complicated. Men are
Yeah.
so easier to deal with. Why the hell would you choose to keep on climbing a mountain when you can just get on a skateboard and just breeze on down the street? You know what I mean? Like, can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
Fucking challenge. It's not, so I think I would have to say that you want to be a man, or that you just haven't had the right guy come along, and is why you want to go out, and be with a woman.
Yeah. The misconception that I was going to say, the stereotype that not that you want to be like that, to me, that's completely homophobic to say. Like, I think, like, that's ridiculous to think that somebody wants to be a man. I was just going to say that, oh, bisexual women are like into threesomes. You know what I mean? People think that, but actually it's like, okay, no. Just because I like women don't mean I want to sleep with a woman and your ugly, rusty, nasty self.
Yeah, no, that's definitely happened. I've definitely been approached by couples, and they try to be all slick
Wow.
about it. Yeah, they try to be all slick, I've never done that. I've never gone home with like some random couple, but I've definitely been approached more than once.
Yeah.
By white couple, one time a Black couple, like, so that gets weird.
Where did a white couple come up to you at? Like, where did you meet a white couple?
Actually, I was at the Four Seasons.
But wait, how did they know to come up? Like, how did they know to come up to you?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a vibe I'm giving off. I might have been with somebody. Maybe I was with a woman or something.
Yeah.
And and maybe the way we were interacting, I don't know. I can't remember the exact details of who I was with. Maybe I do. Actually, I do remember who I was with. But her and I are just friends, so I don't know why that. Who knows? I don't know why they were able to repeat it, but they did.
And you know what? I'm so nosy. What did they say when they came up to you?
Well, okay. So what happened was the girl. I was sitting on the one of the couches, like in Four Seasons, in the main bar area.
Mm-hmm.
They're surrounded by these long couches, or many couches are on both sides, and so
Yeah.
there was some space on side of me, and they just invited themselves over to our table and just stood there, because it was kind of like that back in the day, where Four Seasons is such a pop-in interactive place. People just, me and you might go together and we start having a couple drinks, and you see somebody at another table, and then you go over there. So they kind of invited themselves over to our table, and they start talking, and then the girl sits down. She's like trying to rub my leg, and
What?
trying to be all, just doing the most. And then I think also my friend peeped it too, and she was like, they're trying to take you home. And I was like, shut up. No, they're not. And she was like, yeah, just watch. And then sooner or later, she was like, yeah, we're going to, take our party back to the house. And we thought, if you'd like to join us. And
just you.
Yeah. And I'm like, first of all, I don't know y'all. Second of all, I'm not trying to be on headline. I'm not trying to be in no forensic
unsolved mysteries.
I'm not trying to do none of that. That's like more of my fear more than anything. But also, I'm not interested in having a guy pumping on top of me. So it's gonna work.
Oh my goodness, this is too much. Sometimes I be thinking when I hear stories like that, I'm like, damn, I ain't never been approached by nobody. How come I'm not giving off a vibe?
Because they probably compete that you're not, that you straight.
Yeah.
You're extremely hetero.
I was going to say that I'm pretty open when it comes to other people's sexuality, and I've thought to myself, could I be a lesbian? Like, could I date a woman? And I think that dating a woman would seem really fun and exciting, except when it came to sex. And that's how I knew that I wasn't a lesbian. Cause I'm like, girl, I don't even want to lick my own coochie. I ain't about to lick.
Well, who the hell does that?
I'm just saying, if I could.
I mean, I think there's variations of just like anything. There's variations of like lesbians or bisexual women who love it.
Yeah.
They love it. They love every part of it, the smell, the texture. They love it. And they want to be, they that's what they like to do all the time.
They like to do.
And then there's other, bisexual or, queer women who it's just like having sex with anybody else. You know what I mean? And there's degrees. There's women who love having sex with men and who want to do it all the time and they're willing to do whatever. And then there's women who love having sex, but they're not all going crazy about it 24/7.
Yeah. Well, that's true. But I do think that if you are being intimate with somebody, period, you can't just be the one who wants to receive. It has to be 50-50 for everybody, So if you saying there's women out here who's selfish as hell and they, you know what I mean? Like, come on, we not doing that.
Wait a minute. Right. Okay. So what you're saying that if they, what do you mean selfish as hell? That they don't want to reciprocate.
Yeah, I've even heard of straight women say, oh, well, I don't give blowjobs or something like that. That's ridiculous to me.
Yeah. It's like, why not?
You can't expect to give get and not receive.
So you're not giving me no head. Well, I ain't giving you none either. So
exactly. And then at the end of the day, this not going to work. So, okay. So the next question I had for you was, a couple of people have tweeted this and I've seen other people be upset by it. And some people say you are Black before you are queer. And why or why not? Like, what does that mean to you? What does that actually mean?
I think so. I would say that I'm definitely Black before I'm queer because that's what you see first.
Mm-hmm.
The rest people are guessing.
Yeah. And
I know I give off to some people. I'm definitely giving off. Oh, she's definitely bisexual, if not full on lesbian. Mm-hmm. I feel like I definitely get a question from some people. They're just kind of like,
yeah,
there's no guessing if I'm Black.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to be asking Shay more random questions, more geared towards quarantine and being Black at work. So let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey y'all, welcome back to Colored Couch Conversations. I'm your host, Jazmyn W, and I'm here with my friend, comedian Chey Bell, and I'm in the middle of asking her some random questions. So, Shay, me and you, we've talked about this a lot. Like, me and Shay, we are real friends, but we've talked about working in corporate America a lot because we both quit our jobs to do comedy. She quit like a year before me or whatever. And, I've been making videos about this, so I'd love to know, at work, did you have a fake personality? And if so, like, what did you change about yourself at work that was different from who you are, like, day to day?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like I had a fake personality. Maybe not 100% all the way fake, but I definitely was not my real authentic self. Mm-hmm. And I think that just what I changed was the way I talk. the way I talk at work, and how private I became. And so I'm super guarded in a corporate environment. In other words, like I don't do happy hours with people at work.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
don't like them asking me any questions about where I went on vacation, who I'm spending my weekends with. I don't discuss any of that. I don't let them in like that at all. And if they try to ask me, I just be like, I'll lie if I'm uncomfortable with asking them not to ask me that, or I'll just change the subject.
Yeah.
So I would say that I'm extremely guarded. I don't want them to know who I really am.
Yeah.
And I definitely spoke differently.
Why would you lie about where you went on vacation?
I don't want them to know anything about me. I don't want them to know. I don't want to give them myself like that.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, but I'm like, they know not to ask me, because after all, they'd be like, don't ask her because she's not going to tell you. I'm like, I'm not. Yeah, because you know what I mean? Like, even if there was like a listen, when we had off-site meetings and they all drove together, I drove myself. It could be 2 hours away. I'd be like, I'll meet y'all there. Because when I'm in the car, I don't want to hear you talking about what your husband did or your dog or what grocery shops you got to do. And plus, I want to hear my music. I want to go to the meeting, get myself prepared for some more bullshit I'm going to have to sell. But I'm going to listen to some fucking Chris Brown on the way there. I'm going to listen to some hyped up something on the way there to deal with you.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Listen, I do these videos on TikTok. I get so many questions from white people.
They're so good, by the way.
Thank you.
They're so good. And it makes me think about the conversations that we had when you started. And I'm like kicking myself a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you do such an amazing job. I just wanted to say that it's so well done. It's so funny. It's so creative. You do it. It's really going super, super well.
Oh, thank you, Shay. That is a big compliment because Shay, she's funny and we don't BS with each other about what's funny and what's not, So thank you. But the number one question that I keep getting actually on TikTok, because there are adult people on TikTok. I don't think people realize.
Yeah. Full grown with kids, grandkids.
Great grandkids, some of them.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of white women say, I have white men are always the ones who say, "No, nobody's their authentic self at work," which is I would agree with you. Nobody is their authentic self at work because you can't be racist, Bill, and you can't curse and walk around the house with your shirt off and drink a beer.
Yeah, right. Not racist, Bill.
Okay. But Black women cannot be themselves simply, right? Like we have to smile, we have to laugh, we have to be quiet when we want to speak, and all of these things. So a couple of white women, and I'd love to ask you this, have said, how can I make my Black employees feel more comfortable? Really? Yes. On TikTok have asked me, what can I do to make my Black employees feel more comfortable? What is one piece of advice that you would have for a white woman with employees, or a white man with employees, or a Latina woman who has Black employees, or whatever the case might be, to make their employees feel more comfortable?
So, you're asking me that?
Mm-hmm. I'd love to know what would be your opinion on one thing that they could do, because I know me and you can't solve it, right?
Yeah. I feel like, let me think. If I put myself in the situation, I think that just allowing them. No, here's something, because this is something I saw too recently, is understanding and not prejudge their bilingual abilities.
Okay, yeah.
And when I say that, I don't mean we are speaking another language.
Yes.
And quite honestly, it takes a certain amount of creativity, dexterity, and all of that to be able to have both of those. And when I use it in the office place, you need to respect it.
Yep.
And you need to not devalue it and try to make me feel that there's something wrong with the way that I'm communicating. I think you have to accept that and not prejudge or try to look down on that person. That's one thing I would just don't even get that out of your head. Don't use that as your barometer for measuring their worth or what they have to contribute.
Yes, 100%. And you know what? That goes for, Black Americans, but also like Black immigrants. Because people don't think about the fact when it comes to our languages that we speak, I would consider slang, right? The same as like broken English. Like my husband, he's first generation Nigerian. So do you think that they spoke perfect English when in his house growing up? No, they did not, right? So sometimes my husband says stuff that's completely wrong and I have to correct him, babe, that ain't perfect English, but he's so smart. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So you using that as a way to evaluate our intelligence is just wrong.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And if I could like just add to that also, I think stop measuring our emotional, the way we respond. Like we're quick to be called, Black women are quick to be called aggressive when we're just existing.
Mm-hmm.
We are very strong in the way we present, and vocally even we come off stronger.
Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of times if we're reprimanding or we have people, people who are subordinates, and we're automatically, it's all aggressive and we haven't even said anything. You know,
Yeah.
I sent an email to my manager once. Something happened. She saw me out of the office one day, and she came back to work and told people she saw me out of the office. She told an intern, the intern told another employee, another employee went home and told her mom. The mom, who is friends with the owner of the company, went back and told the owner, and everybody was talking about what I was doing when I was out of the office. And so I wrote an email and basically asked them, and basically accused them of invading my privacy and making my personal business fodder for office gossip.
Yeah.
And I feel violated, and I would appreciate it if you don't do that again.
Yeah.
They said I was aggressive.
No.
They were like, that's aggressive. And I'm not aggressive as if I would have came in this office and slapped you.
Okay.
Yeah, for getting in my business.
Okay. Aggressive is walking in the office and say, who the hell in my business? You in my business.
Yeah, exactly. But because I checked them, they're not used to you. Yeah, I was out of line for a Black person, a Black woman. I stepped out of what they consider to be a line.
Yes. You know what? One of my really good friends who's been on the podcast before said that oftentimes, not all, but most of the time, white women are so busy and white people are so busy being passive aggressive.
Yeah.
That when you have Black women here in their honesty, we come off as aggressive immediately because you're so busy beating around the bush, and we don't do that really.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Well, that's great. I think that's good advice. I ended up replying to this woman on TikTok, and I said, listen, this is too much for TikTok comments.
Yeah,
But I said I told her one thing you can do is just simply listen to Black people's suggestions in the office and clearly communicate to them that every suggestion will be heard but not necessarily implemented. But it's a good way to just listen, because a lot of times we be telling the truth.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Your idea's not going to work, Chad. Okay. Right.
A lot, and oftentimes I know from HR, people just want to be heard. And you say, okay, I'm gonna listen to you. Doesn't mean that, I'm going to run to the CEO with your ideas.
Yeah.
But let's listen so I can hear you out, and then we'll go from there and see what we can implement and what we can do now and what might need to wait. Whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, my last random question for you is, what have you accomplished in quarantine? What's one thing that you've done and you're like, okay, I'm glad I'm doing this. I'm happy I've done this, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I've done quite a bit. I've read a couple books so far. I've taken a master class.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I took a stand-up master class. Now I can't even remember, Steve Martin masterclass.
How was it?
It was very good. It was very informative, and helping me to just go further with my comedy, and just giving you some tools to use when you're writing comedy, how to continue to take it further and make it better. So it was some of it was refresh, but you always need that just so you can stay sharp and you can continue to perfect what you're doing. And so that was helpful. I read a couple of books, like I said. I read Trevor Noah's book, Born a Crime. I read a book, I can't even think of the woman now, the author, You're a Badass, which is mostly just kind of an affirmation book about kind of getting out of your own way and, you know, stop procrastinating. And now I'm reading Long Story Short, which is a book about how to be a better storyteller.
Okay. Cool.
And the last thing I did is I secured a mentor to help me write a business plan.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. So that's, those are some things I've been doing.
Yeah. One thing I know that you have been doing is you were looking for a bike. Did you ever get a stationary bike to exercise?
I bought it yesterday.
And what kind did you get?
I bought the Nordic Track.
Okay, girl. Well,
yeah, I bought it yesterday, and I'm so excited. I can't wait for it to come because I'm just like the weight is just adding up, and I feel I'm a gym person. You know, I'm used to, you know, releasing stress. I can't think right now. You know, the energy's not flowing properly because I need to get in the gym and I need to work out there's so much going on. You know that.
Yeah.
And so I'm hopeful that once the bike comes in a couple of weeks, I'll be able to at least reestablish some type of routine and get some positive energy going.
Yeah. Girl, after this, I'm going to go for a jog. Even though I'm sipping on a margarita, I don't care. I'm going to go for a jog because your girl, listen, I ain't got time to be getting thick in quarantine, and I don't get thick in the right places. So I feel you.
I don't either. Down here is looking like a thumb. I need to get it together. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do it. I'm like, okay, this is enough.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, I know that was short, but when we come back, we're going to get into some trending topics. We're going to be talking about Meg Thee Stallion. So let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Hey y'all, welcome back to Colored Couch Conversations. I really hope you're enjoying this episode because this is a good one with me and Chey Bell. Don't forget to follow Shay on Instagram at Chey Bell Comedy on Instagram, or go to her website for everything, Shay at shaybell.com. Now, okay, we're into some trending topics. Meg Thee Stallion was on live yesterday to talk about how she's been shot in both of her feet. We found out she was actually shot in both of her feet by Tory Lanez. We watched Meg Thee Stallion be the butt of jokes through this situation. Like, as soon as people found out that she was shot, she became a meme. And, you know, for me, this actually really made me mad today after, you know, continuing to see Twitter and, you know, online what people had to say and stuff like that. So I wanted to know from you, Shay, what do you think what do you think of this situation? And what does this make you feel about how Black women are treated, you know, and how our pain is not really taken seriously?
Man, I could go on for this, but first, I didn't know she was shot in both feet.
Yes.
What the hell? What happened? Do you know what happened?
She didn't really say what happened. She said, she just really talked about, you know, her journey. She said, luckily the bone didn't hit any bones or luckily the bullet didn't hit any bones or tendons. She said she was thankful for that, but it was stuck in her foot is what she said. So apparently the bullet was stuck in one of her foot. She had to have surgery to get it taken out. And she was shot in both of her feet.
Was they on top of each other?
I don't know. She
standing on one of her foots. And I'm not laughing at that because I'm like, how do you shoot somebody in both of their feet?
I do not know.
This is a really funky situation to be shot in both of your feet. Okay, yes. So I think that's super tragic. I don't understand why it's so quiet. It's super quiet. She's the only one talking. And if Tory Lanez is the person who apparently shot her, I guess he's quiet for a reason too, because you know, he's trying to go into preservation mode. Right. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this. It is unfortunate. And for her to be so early in her career to have something so ridiculous happen, you know, part of me is like not blaming her, but girl, it's just difficult sometimes when you start making progress. You got to get the hell away from certain people, because it's about elevating and really using the opportunity that you have to really change your life.
Yes.
The lives of the people that you love. And it's like, hopefully she's going to erase some fools from her life from this.
Yes.
As far as people making jokes, I think that too many times Black women are not just the butt of the jokes, but disrespected. And too many times, unfortunately, by Black men.
Mm.
I think that as much as I love hip hop music, sometimes it's kind of a double-edged sword, because it is responsible, I think, for why the disrespect against Black women continues. Some artists, some of these hip hop artists support degrading Black women, abusing Black women, and they think it's a joke, like we have no value, and they make millions of dollars doing it. Not only that, but the white people that they're in business with make money off of degrading Black women.
That part.
And it's just really frustrating. It's super frustrating when you hear people like 50 Cent talking about you like exotic women. Ain't nobody more exotic than a Black woman.
Right.
If there's a spectrum of exoticness and white women at one spectrum, Black women have to be on the other side.
Right.
What the hell are you talking about? If I hear one more rap song talking about you want a red bone, or she was exotic, or she didn't need no tan, it's like, we know who you're talking about. It sounds cold. It's like code talk for you want a certain type of woman. They're not,
right,
because Black women ain't out trying to get no tan. We don't mind.
Right.
You're talking to a specific type of woman. And when you only focus on that, to me, you're leaving all the Black women out there out of what you desire or what you call is valuable.
Right.
It's really sad. It's super sad. And I don't know what the hell's wrong with some of these Black men, to be quite honest with you.
Right.
Why would you should be in protect mode.
Yes.
The way Black women ride for Black men, y'all should be jumping over fences, crossing high freeways. You should be doing whatever you got to do to protect Black women. The way we out here riding for y'all.
Right.
Even those of us who is not romantically linked to you. I have a brother.
Yes.
Black women ride for Black men no matter what.
Literally, we
they
do
not do the same for us.
Right. And you know what? I can hear in my head Black men getting ready to argue with us on this, right? But I think the people that we put on a pedestal is a reflection of our community, right? If we ready to protect the R. Kellys, the Tory Lanes, when we lift people up in their art, their talent, we cannot praise Tory Lanez and let him slide for this. We cannot say, whoa, but he be making good music though. Yeah. We can't lift those people up and say, well, wait, that's not a reflection of us. We do ride for y'all. Because look who you just put on that's not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So our artists should reflect our community and what our community values are.
Yeah, but they do though.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, they do. We value getting the bag. Girl, I gotta get the bag, girl. He didn't have no money. I ain't fucking with him, girl. I ain't fucking with nobody with no 9 to 5. It's like, okay, well, that dude with the 9 to 5 might be what you need.
It is, actually, because
he might be what you need, really.
And there's when you sell some books that's got I'm just when you sell some plagiarized shit, you need a 9 to 5 health insurance.
Yeah. And you need a 9 to 5 that maybe got some friends that got some fathers or mothers that know a little bit about the law. You need a 9 to 5 to help you be like, wait a minute, baby, let's read this line again. That sounds like somebody else wrote that right there. Yeah. I ain't working. I ain't got to work no overtime. I got plenty of time to help you.
Okay.
At 5, I'll be home at 6. We'll go over the paperwork together.
On salary too, so you ain't got to worry about me clocking in or clocking out.
Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately, it is a reflection of what we value. It's interesting because Rhea, who is also folded into the situation now, I guess she did an interview with I don't Hollywood Unlocked. I don't want to misquote who she did an interview with.
Yeah.
It was one of these outlets, and she made some comment about Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion having a Bobby Whitney type of relationship.
And what she said, what I will say is, a lot of times comedians say this. Drea is not a comedian.
Right.
So when you are not a comedian, you should tread lightly about making jokes, because we as comedians have made mistakes and we know what to touch and what not to touch, right?
Right.
But what Drea said was, I want to be in a relationship where a nigga love me so much that he'll shoot me. And she said it as a joke. That's literally...
That's a joke?
That's well, she was glamorizing domestic violence, which is not cool, but that was supposed to be her joke, right? So that's what she said.
Yeah.
But I think you were about to make your way over to 50 Cent, because
I think that I don't know if he had something to say. I haven't been following the rest of this after that. I was just going to say that that again, speaking about what we value, right? That now you have a platform and you this is what you value. It's just sad. I just feel like we're so much better than where we are, and we could be better. It's not to say that there's no room for having fun and being silly. There's room, for love and hip hop. There's room for Atlanta Housewives, but there's also got to be space for the same amount of value placed on things that lift us up and put us in a better light. And
100%.
I think it's completely off balance.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. What I was going to say about Drea is she made her comment glamorizing domestic violence, right? She was dropped from Fenty. She was trending on Twitter as being canceled. Everybody called her a dumb broad. She's stupid anyway. But 50 Cent over here, and he continues to make jokes. In fact, 50 Cent went on Instagram today or yesterday, I think it was today, this morning, and apologized for the things he said about Meg, because he said, I didn't realize that this was true. I thought that Meg getting shot was a joke, which he's literally lying.
Yeah. You didn't believe that. You knew it was you got inside information. The real. He knows what really happened.
Exactly.
Trust me, he knows what really went down.
Exactly.
So, say that you didn't know that. That's what did he say though? What else was he making? People were making all kind of transphobic jokes and all kind of stuff. I did see that.
And that is another thing. Like, oh, we don't even have time to get into this, honey. Like, that is another thing.
Yeah.
Meg is shot, and why are we talking about Meg being trans? First of all, she's not. But if she was, like, what does this have to do with her well-being?
Yeah, nothing. It's just very. It's unfortunately it's very. I hate to say it. I know it sounds harsh, but it's very
negroidous.
It's very low frequency.
Ooh.
Very low frequency. And I think a lot of times is where this type of mentality dwells. You're so bottom feeder. Like, it's so, once again, trans has nothing to do with sex. It's biology.
Right.
Take the sex out of it. It's why are you so fixated on what people want to do from a sexual aspect? You're projecting your bullshit onto them. It's biology,
right.
Genes. It has nothing to do with sex, but people think it does. And so read a book and stop running away from probably your own feelings.
Y'all, this has so many layers to it. And again, the more we unpeel, the more problematic we get.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my last thing on the trending topics is switching gears a little bit. COVID-19 has impacted every industry, but I personally feel that comedy and entertainment will be impacted for much longer. Do you think that live comedy is a thing of the past?
It's really interesting. I think that it's going to be a long time before we get back to what we were used to, and before people get back to what we're used to. And in the meantime, the internet, TikTok, people are really starting to transition and do some other things with comedy. I don't know, because maybe it will be. Because when I look at, when you think about even before COVID hit, there's a lot of internet comics, not internet comics. I'll just say, these people that get on,
it's internet comedy is what it is.
Internet comedy that is, creating such fanship for some of these people.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it translates into stand-up. They've tried to do that. And a lot of times when those comics come from behind that mic in front of that, behind the computer, and they get on stage, it does not translate because you don't have a real sense of what it means to stand up. So for that, I don't know, maybe this is opportunity for people that do internet comedy to blow up, and it's just a completely different genre. And then once stand-up comedy comes back, or once people start feeling comfortable with coming back, maybe there'll be some improvements made to how how stand-up comedy is done. Maybe there'll be some changes with that. I think that might be a closer version of what I would say I think might happen.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a while, because even, I did a show recently. My first show, probably 3 weeks ago, and it was
Was it it was in a backyard?
outside in a patio of a bar. And it was in Monterey, which is up north. And first of all, it felt rickety. I felt because I practiced.
Yeah.
You haven't done stand up for so long. That sharpness, that smoothness, that it's a squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
So I felt robotic, and it didn't feel right. People were receptive, and people were happy that we were there. And they were just like, thank you so much. We miss stand-up comedy. The people that would come and talk to you afterwards, of course, with their mask on or whatever. But
yeah,
nobody had a mask outside, by the way. No, they did. I'm sorry, they did. They did have masks on.
I was about to say, I'm for sure ain't gonna see you now. Didn't nobody have on no mask?
They did. I know that people took them off, but they stepped away because there was an area where you could either smoke or drink.
Okay.
But anyway, people were being safe. Yeah, so that was awkward, and I know that there's more shows like that popping up. People are starting to do more and more outside shows.
Yeah. I'm doing comedy online right now because it's my only outlet, but there is danger, I will say, with being a stand-up comedian and doing comedy online, because then when you go back to stand-up, what do people expect from you? Do you expect me to be a white woman on stage and do these, like, what do you expect from me? Because I have so many different points of view that I can't give you what you might be expecting, or maybe I can, and I should find a way to do that.
That's a good way to look at that, because I do know comics who are stand-up comics. They created a persona online, and then when they go do stand-up, the people want to see that character. They're like, was something I did at home. I'm not doing that.
Yes.
Like, I ain't doing that shit. I'm not coming up here dressing up like I was dressing in front of a computer and a character. That was goofy. This is real stand-up right here.
Yes.
So, hopefully people can distinguish between the two. Maybe the idea is to do both, some of both.
Yeah.
If you're in a position to post some of the stand-up material and along with the sketches, maybe that's a better way to pass that hurdle.
And my thing too is I'm not gonna let people I really don't want people to get too comfortable with anything that I'm doing, whether it's on stage or online, right? Like, I don't want you to think that this is all I do, so I gotta mix it up for you so that you do not believe that this is the only thing that I am capable of, Yeah. So, well, okay, we always give advice at the end of the episode in what I call the Keep It Real corner. And this person actually DM'd me on Instagram. They came from TikTok. They don't follow me, but they wanted my advice. I'm like, how that work? But
Who sent you?
I said, you gotta follow me if you want. Okay, but anyway, they said, how do you break up with someone you've been with for 3 years and they're living with this person? Should I wait until after quarantine? So, I mean, we don't know any more about this situation than that. But if you were to, me and you are in serious relationships. So if we were to break up with our significant other right now, how would we do that? Or should this person wait until quarantine or until quarantine is over? What would be your advice?
I would say do it now. And the reason why I would say do it now is because I think that it depends on, I would say it depends on it gives you time. It gives both of you time to maybe make an easier transition. Maybe it's not as painful because you have time to kind of start separating yourselves from each other and moving it slowly kind of into a more friend situation and pulling yourselves apart so that when when you can move out, maybe you've been able to do a little bit of healing a little bit, maybe together. If both people are mature enough, it definitely is going to require that. You can't have somebody being hella petty and mad. I think maybe that would work if both people agree that the relationship is not working and we probably should both go our separate ways. I think my advice would only work in that scenario. If somebody's still holding on, then maybe I would wait.
So you said if both people are mature and it's amicable, right, you should do it now.
Yes.
But are you suggesting that you should continue to live with each other while you separate emotionally and physically, and then when quarantine's over, move out?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be my advice. If it's mutual.
Yeah.
Because I think you could do that if you both decided that this is not working. We need to separate. I think if both people are mature enough and they're on the same page about it, we need to separate, then I think it can be done. And I think it can be done in a way that helps both of them. It's still going to be sad, and they're going to be torn, there's going to be things to deal with afterwards. But I think if they're on the same page about the relationship, I think they can do it.
Yeah. I feel like every time I have a guest on my podcast, they're always much more mature than I am. And that's cool because I keep these kind of people around me. But I would say break up with them and get away from them right now.
You would be like, move out.
Move out right now. Get away from me right now. That is my personality, I will say. I'm a Pisces.
Okay. I don't know anything about Pisces, but
We're very emotional. We're sensitive, But when we're done, we're done. Like when we are done, we're done. Like through with you, right? So I would say, and the reason I say get away and get out right now is because quarantine, let's say we're in quarantine for the rest of 2020. If you get out, if you can, get out of whatever situation you're in by the end of, mid-August, 3 weeks, you have the rest of the year to heal, be by yourself.
That's true.
Do your thing for the quarantine. Like if you wait until after the quarantine, you've wasted all of this time that you could have spent in solitude.
That's true, but see, you need that. Maybe some people, solitude is not the right way to go.
That's true.
Yeah, for some people, solitude. Here's the thing. I think solitude can be great for everybody because you need that time.
Yeah.
But for me, that wouldn't work for me.
Why?
Because I need the distractions. I need people and energy, and I need things because I still have to go home and be by myself. Right. Yeah. And doing it during the day when you don't have the ability to interact with anybody, for me, that would be too painful.
But honestly, if me and my husband decided we were going to break up and we're going to live together, we're going to end up back together. So if this is really not a good situation for you, you need to get away or you're going to end up merging back together.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, there is a possibility that you could start becoming codependent if you don't get up and get your shit and move out.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I don't know if we helped you, but you have some things to think about.
We definitely didn't help, but that, we helped a little bit, but All right, y'all. Well, listen, Shay, what do you have coming up? What are you working on? This is just for people who want to keep up with you, and they will want to because this is such a good episode. How can they keep up with you?
Yeah, so right now, unfortunately, I haven't been doing the best in, doing posts. I'm trying to really think about that, but there's some projects that I'm working on. I think maybe just continue to follow me on Instagram. I will be doing some updates soon on some things, and I think that's the best way.
Okay.
As far as stand-ups, it's going to be a while before we do that.
Yeah. So follow Shay on Instagram. If you've been watching on YouTube, you've already seen it here below. But if you've been listening on Spotify, Apple, or Google, then we've said it a couple times, but it's Chey Bell Comedy. Y'all don't forget to rate, review, subscribe on the platform you're listening on right now. And if you love Colored Couch Conversations, make sure to tell somebody else about the show. Do not be selfish, okay? You can follow us on Instagram at Color to Couch Conversations and watch the show on my YouTube channel at Comedian Jazmyn W on YouTube, spelled Jazmyn. Thanks to my dad. Thank you for listening, and thanks to Shay for being on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Okay, it was. Bye.
Bye.